Hi, so I am actually at a retreat this weekend. So I'm filming this from my hotel room in Austin, Texas. And I didn't do a video this week, a normal video. So I really wanted to get on here and just kind of off the cuff, share authentically about some of the insights that I've had. Um, I really want to address the suffering that men are going through because of the fact that they don't have really the skill set. No one's really taught them how to process their feelings, how to tune into what's going on, and the consequences of being stuck in what's really been created by their belief system in their childhood. The consequences of that is that they're suffering in their adult life. They're suffering in business, but mostly they're suffering in their relationships. And it's costing them some of the most important relationships of their life. So, in case you're new here and you're just happening to stumble upon this video first, I'm Ketra Thompson and I'm a certified master hypnotist and I'm a life recovery coach. So, my focus in my coaching is on attachment style and complex trauma and how that really affects people subconsciously. So, through the hypnotherapy work, we go back with my clients to the belief systems that are driving their unwanted behaviors, and we can reframe those subconsciously, giving people just an incredible amount of traction in their life. So if you'd like to learn more, there's a link in the description below where you can set up a consultation so we can really discover what's going on with you. I can give you as much clarity as possible and make my best recommendations. So you can learn more about that there. So what I really want to talk about is the realization that while I may be a woman speaking to a men's issue, I'm a woman who has had so much impact from the men in my life. And when I really get honest with the fact that I have watched the men in my life suffer greatly because they have not been resourced in the ways that allow them to actually have a voice in their own life, to be assertive and kind at the same time, how to tune into what's going on inside of themselves so that they can actually interpret those messages and feelings, meeting their own needs, expressing their needs, and communicating in a way that allows them to function in authenticity. So I watched my own dad, really a very kind-hearted man, not have a voice in his own life, not tune into his own assertiveness, and not create boundaries in so many ways. And it really cost him almost every person in his family because he did not know how to create the connection with them that he really wanted. And he didn't know how to have boundaries in his life in other areas that would have allowed him to create a more authentic expression of himself and authentic connection to the people in his life. I look at my stepdad who suppressed feelings his whole life and had such high stress at work and is now at a fairly too young age for me, as far as I'm concerned, is dealing with stage 4 cancer diagnosis. And what we don't realize is that our emotional state will impact our physical state. Eventually, it will catch up with us because we create this toxicity in our emotional state by shoving down our feelings, by ignoring them, by not knowing what they mean, by not having access to them. And so when we look at the effect of not being able to process what's going on inside of us, it's actually pretty catastrophic. It affects not only our mental health and our physical health, but it also affects the way that we relate to the other people in our life. So when we can't relate to the people in our life, we just end up feeling more isolated and alone. And so there's a lot of men that feel like they're constantly being judged or they just can't get anything right. If they get one thing right, then they're being picked apart for another thing. And so there's this feeling for them that they really want to do well and they want to care well for the people in their life. But because they aren't tuned into what's going on inside of them, they aren't able to know what their own needs are. They aren't able to meet their own needs, the parts of them that they can meet themselves, and they aren't able to express their needs to the people around them. And so this creates such a frustrating dynamic with the people who love them the most, because they don't know what's going on inside of the heart and mind of their partner, because it's not being shared. And if it is being shared, it's being shared from this place of pent up resentment, and it comes out in anger. And so they're keeping track inside their mind of all the things they've done for this other person and creating a narrative. And then all of a sudden they're just so mad because they've done all these things and they haven't been acknowledged for it. And it kind of spills out in anger instead of meeting their needs in real time. So there isn't a buildup, and even communicating their needs in real time. So even me explaining that concept to most men is probably very confusing because they've never been taught this. But one of the aha moments I've really had recently about this is that while I'm not a man, I am a woman who's experienced the ramifications of those men in my life not being able to do that. And because of it, I have not felt safe, and I have not felt well cared for. And, I spent a 17-year marriage with a man who also couldn't identify what his needs were and how to meet them in a healthy way or even articulate them. And it turned into a lot of dysfunction. And so I would say my most proud moment is the fact that I've raised 3 boys. I am a boy mom, and all of my boys are adults now, and they are, while they're not perfect, they're on their own journey, they're growing, they're learning. They are also the most well-adjusted, most emotionally mature, emotionally available, kind, thoughtful, and assertive in many ways, young men that I know. And it's not all because of me. It's not all because I get all the credit, but I'm really, really proud of who they are and how they turned out. And I see with my clients on a regular basis that a lot of men will come to see me for things like anxiety. But when you get to the heart of it, that anxiety is coming from the fact that they have spent their whole life holding up a mask. They have tried to be what the world told them they should be. They've tried to fit the mold of what a man is supposed to be. And in that trying and striving to be something that maybe they're not, and also not meeting their own needs at the same time, has exhausted them to the point where they don't know what to do. Their relationships are falling apart around them. Their wives are leaving them, and they're good men. But the problem is they haven't healed what's driving this dysfunction in their behavior, and they haven't had the ability to step out of the fear that's keeping them back from their own authenticity. And so I do this with my clients through the hypnotherapy process, helping them reframe those things on a subconscious level so they can step forward into things that probably would have felt too scary in the past, learning to tune into what those messages are and be assertive in their own life. And it's an incredible process to watch. And most men that come to me as clients are most impacted in their intimate relationship, even if they came for social anxiety or some kind of anxiety related issue. They're most impacted in their intimate relationship because now finally they're able to connect in a whole new way. So the one thing you can do today is you can start getting real with yourself. You can start asking yourself where things aren't working for you in your life, where you're feeling that pain, and create some awareness around that so that you can start getting curious about it. Because awareness is the first step, that things aren't working the way that they should be working. And really just awareness that we don't heal alone. We don't heal in isolation. It does take a step of vulnerability to decide I'm not going to be who I once was. Even if I don't know what that new version of me looks like yet, you can know that you don't have to be who your parents were, who you were conditioned to be. So the awareness is huge, and the decision to be curious and open about what you really want to be in life, how you want to show up in life, how you want to feel, and stop pointing the finger at the people around you and start looking inside yourself. It's easy to point the finger around you because that gets the spotlight off of you. But if you can put the spotlight inside of you without beating yourself up, without condemning yourself or shaming yourself or guilting yourself, and just saying, what is not working here? What is my behavior coming from? What kind of fear is driving that? Get curious about that. Start asking yourself some questions and then reach out for some help. I don't care what kind of help you get. There's a lot of different modalities out there, but reach out for help that can help you navigate what it is that you need to heal that's driving your unwanted behavior, who it is you want to become, and then actionable steps of how to get you from point A to point B. So that you don't just sit there rehashing the past forever. Maybe talk therapy could be very helpful for you in discovering what that past is and what those pain points are. But some people say that talk therapy just kind of reiterates the past over and over, and you sit there every week for 5 years without feeling any different. And the main difference I hear from my clients is that with the hypnotherapy process, finally they are feeling different. So I would encourage you to look for modalities that feel right to you, that will help you move from A to B and actually create that traction in your life. So get that awareness, get curious about what's going on inside of you, get the spotlight off the other person, and start getting accountable to yourself and what you're contributing to the situation. So anyway, this is a little random and a little, unplanned, but I really wanted to go on here and just share that men are hurting. They're hurting deeply, and they don't know how to express it because they've never been taught that. And they've been taught to toughen up and to deal with it and to push through and to be a man. And the truth is that being a man is integrating the strength part of you with the vulnerable humanity part of you in a way that allows you to not only meet your own needs, but to express them in an interdependent way to the people around you. And that is just simply something that none of us were taught, not women, not men, but especially men. So if you'd like to learn more, again, check out the links in the description below. And if this content resonates with you, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe so you could be notified every time I post a new video. So until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design.